You ever have one of those days at work where you feel like a soul-crushing void has opened up and not even, cosmic, world-altering magic could fix it? Well, there's this short story that just nails that exact feeling and spins it into some truly brilliant satire. So today, we're going to break down the Archmages 9 to 5 and see how it uses these classic fantasy ideas to show just how absurd modern work life can be.
And here it is, the central joke of the entire story, right here on one slide. On the one hand, you've got this epic, unbelievably powerful sorcerer, Lord Elarafin. And on the other, you have Al, a lowly intern. The hilarious and kind of tragic part? They are the exact same person. This one image just perfectly captures the fall from grace that powers this whole thing.
All right, so to really appreciate the comedy of his downfall, we first have to understand the sheer epic scale of who Al used to be. Let's just take a quick look at the world he came from.
I mean, listen to this language. It is pure high fantasy grandeur. He's battling on some demonic plane, wearing robes literally made of starlight, fighting a demon lord. The stakes aren't just high, they are the fate of the entire world high. This is the absolute peak of power we're talking about. This is him. This is his apex, a voice that commands the very fabric of reality, casting a demon into nothingness. Remember this level of power. Remember this booming confidence. It's going to become very important in a second.
So, what happens after you vanquish a creature of ultimate evil? You open your eyes, and you're here.
And the contrast is it's devastatingly funny. The stormy, demonic plane is now a cramped, beige break room. His robes of starlight have become a cheap suit, and his greatest enemy, the demon lord, has been swapped out for a sputtering coffee machine. The stakes have plummeted from the fate of the world to just trying to get a cup of coffee before a webinar starts.
And there's that same booming voice, except now it's just this defeated, pathetic whisper. You can feel him trying to summon that old power, but the sheer, crushing banality of a situation just squeezes it out of him. This is the moment you realize his old skills are completely, hilariously useless here.
Okay, now we get to the good stuff. What happens when he actually tries to apply his godlike powers to these trivial office problems? This is where the satire really starts to bite.
Let's just break down this whole coffee machine incident. He starts small, right? A little whisper, nothing. Then he tries a minor mending spell. I mean, for him, this should be like breathing. When that fails, he resorts to literally phasing his hand through solid matter. The comedy is all in the escalation. He's using cosmic-level troubleshooting on a cheap appliance, and of course, the result is an absolute catastrophe.
And this detail? It's just perfect. His immense power, which once banished demons to another dimension, can't even fix a simple blockage without violently destroying the smiling face of middle management. It's a perfect visual metaphor for how completely out of place he is.
But the coffee machine, that was just the warm-up act. The real collision, the real train wreck, happens in his performance review. Gary, his supervisor, hits him with the ultimate weapon of corporate culture. Totally meaningless jargon. And this one sentence, this is what finally pushes our Archmage right over the edge.
So what does Al do? He uses a spell designed for interrogating demonic royalty on his middle manager supervisor. The scale of this is just absurd. It's like using a tactical nuke to ask for a status update. All he wanted was the truth, but oh boy, he is about to get way, way more than he bargained for.
And the dam just breaks. The spell doesn't just make Gary truthful, it unleashes this tidal wave of every repressed frustration and failed dream he has ever had. The corporate mask doesn't just slip off, it absolutely shatters.
And it just gets more and more personal and absurd. We go from career regrets to a deep, passionate hatred for his wife's lawn gnomes. The Zone of Truth doesn't care about professional boundaries. It just reveals the raw, unfiltered psyche of a man trapped in mediocrity.
And it ends with maybe the most relatable bit of office honesty ever spoken. This is the catastrophic success of the spell. It works too well, and in doing so, it completely demolished the fragile social ecosystem of the office by exposing all the miserable truths everyone pretends not to feel.
So, after watching Al unleash magical chaos on coffee machines and middle managers, you kind of have to ask yourself, what is this story really about? Who is the actual villain here?
right? Is it the coffee machine? Is it his supervisor Gary? Or is the enemy something much, much bigger and way more difficult to fight?
This comparison just reframes the entire story. The Demon Lord, for all its terrifying power, was a straightforward problem with a magical solution. But corporate culture? That's a whole different kind of monster. It's a colossus of beige cubicles that wields weapons like performance reviews and mandatory fun, and no spell in Al's entire arsenal can even touch it.
And that's the true tragedy of the story. It's not just about a wizard in an office. It's about that feeling of being incredibly skilled and powerful, yet finding yourself completely helpless against a mundane, bureaucratic system that doesn't value who you really are. The real demon is the one you can't just banish to the void. And that leaves us with the final, brilliant question the story poses. If world-altering arcane power is totally useless against synergy webinars and broken coffee machines, then what kind of power, what kind of magic actually works in that world? It's something to think about the next time you have to go to a mandatory fun day at work.